of the year. Now, there's some considerations here, man. This was not an easy pick for us. You know, you could go Jack Della Maddalena, 3 TKOs this year, all knockouts for Jack Della Maddalena. Still having troubles pronouncing his name. You know, Bo Nickel had a pretty strong year. You can say his name in the hat. Shavkat, you know, good year for him. Larissa Pacheco for PFL, Breakthrough Fighter of the Year was a possibility. Gelton Almeida, hell of a year. But one definitely stood out over the rest, and that is the ultimate hater, the guy who chased down Israel Adesanya, Alex Pereira. He starts the year 1-0 in the UFC. He goes and he fights Bruno Silva in March. Then he finishes Sean Strickland by knockout in July. And then we just recently have him crowned new champion of the middleweight division. Completely what you would call a breakthrough of the year. He definitely broke out in 2022. Ben, go ahead.
Yeah, like we talked about earlier, also a guy who was in consideration for, you know, just fighter of the year in general instead of breakthrough fighter of the year. But fair enough. I mean, we always say that there's levels. Let's let him get this first level, right? First of breakthrough fighter of the year. You're not going to be the rookie and the MVP your rookie year. I get where you were coming from, Justin. Don't worry, because I feel it. There is room for improvement. Definitely. We saw the ground game when Israel Adesanya is able to get you on the ground. Just, you know, Israel Adesanya really lacks a ground game, and which is why he wasn't able to get hooks in and keep the fight on the ground, at least for one round, you know, to tire Pereira out even more. But, you know, a guy who's probably going to end up fighting Izzy again, and I think that he beats Izzy again. I think that that's just, hey, you got my number, man. You got my number. Like, if I've already beat you 3 times in 2 different sports, albeit the way the fight was going, there was always those moments when we said, hey, you know, Pereira has Izzy against the cage. He's got Izzy against the cage. And Izzy's going to keep putting himself against the cage. So I think that Pereira, once he fights an overall mixed martial artist instead of a specialist, like he and Israel Adesanya are, will have, you know, a way tougher test, and we'll see him really struggle on the ground. But, you know, for now, we got to give the man his flowers. Took the UFC by storm, literally joined the UFC because he had this rivalry with Adesanya. He had the fast track to the title, got the fast track to the title, took full advantage, and rightfully so should be the winner of this award.
Yeah, Ben summed it up perfectly. Rightful winner of this award, had a meteoric rise all throughout the year. You know, that victory against Sean Strickland, Ben mentioned levels. You know, there's a lot of, I feel like, talk with that fight is like, okay, he's fighting Sean Strickland. He's a guy that he's like kind of a rough fighter, makes the fights ugly, but he's a guy that can take you down, and he'll maybe employ that in his game plan, which we found out he didn't do that. He just wanted to go and bang with Pereira, which was his demise. And, you know, he said he'd do it again. But anyways, Pereira took care of business with Strickland, answered that call. And then the rivalry with Adesanya, you know, I'll say the fight, to me, Adesanya was winning it the whole time. But when you're a guy like Pereira, when you carry those bricks for hands and the striking ability that you have, you're live at all points in the fight. And he proved it by taking him out when he did at that point. And you could tell, even though Izzy was, I mean, quote unquote, if you want to go by the scorecards, maybe dominating the fight, because I think he would have won conclusively. I don't, if it went to scorecards, I think it would have been hard pressed for you to make an argument for Pereira to win that fight. But Pereira was never out of it. He was always game. And I always felt like Izzy was the one that was in trouble throughout the fight, even though he was winning. Like you get that feel with Pereira. Like he's just the guy, he's just a shark, just lurking in the water, just waiting to smell the blood. And then boom, he's just going to take you out no matter what. And to Ben's point, once he fights somebody who's a little bit more well-rounded and could really, really employ, you know, him having to, you know, have some hesitancy with his striking and look for that takedown defense, that's when we'll really see, you know, another test. But no arguments here. The guy could have won Fighter of the Year too.
All right.